it's Dave at NoRecipeRequired, and we're going to continue on with our NFL-inspired burgers. Today we're going down south, Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I got to give credit to my wife for coming up with the Biscuits and Gravy burger. She went to college in Jacksonville, was in love with the southern food, the southern cooking there, and I'm trying to bring that into the burger here. Really simple to do. Patty with sausage and with ground beef in there. We'll use some sausage in the gravy as well. Pour it all over on top. Pour it all over top of this burger, which we put on a biscuit as the bun. I think it's absolutely spectacular. Let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, let's go ahead and cook off our biscuits for our Jacksonville Jaguars burger. I'm using store-bought. If you've got the patience, the time, the inclination to do it yourself, more power to you. I'm going to start with these. They'll take about 20 minutes or so to cook off. Alright, so our biscuits look done. I just pulled them out of the stove. I'm going to let them rest for about 5 or 6 minutes, and that's the perfect amount of time to cook our patty and make our sauce. Okay, next thing I'm going to do for our Jaguars-inspired burger is cook off a little bit of sausage to start our gravy. This is just kind of regular old sweet Italian sausage. I bought the whole sausage, I took the casing off, and I'm just going to throw some bits in there. I'm going to use maybe a quarter of this, maybe a third of it, and cook this off. This is going to be form our drippings, or a lot of the drippings that will become our gravy. The rest of the sausage I'm going to use to make our patty, along with some ground beef. Okay, so my sausage is starting to brown off. It's giving off a little bit of the drippings, but not a ton, so I'm going to add a little bit more oil in terms, well, olive oil. And then I'm also going to add just a little bit of diced onion. I'm going to let all this kind of cook through. The onion just needs to soften up for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to come back, add some flour, maybe a little bit more oil depending on the drippings to make our gravy. Good time to make the patty. Alright, for this burger, I'm actually going to use about half ground beef and half ground, what do you call that, sausage. That's the link that we pulled out before. And I find the sausage on this, it just goes really nice with the biscuits, a little more traditional, along with the gravy. We'll mix it together just like we do any other burger. You want to make sure it gets well incorporated because we got two very different meats there. And this burger, obviously, because it's got the pork sausage in there, you want to cook it all the way through. This isn't one we do medium or medium rare. I'm going to form our patty roughly to the shape of what I think the biscuit is going to turn out to be. A little dimple in the middle. And then once I take the biscuits out, it'll be time to cook up our patty. Alright, so my sausage is brown, the onions are soft, they're slightly browning. I need still just a little bit more olive oil, or butter would be great in the pan, because what I'm going to do is add our flour now. I'm going to turn the heat pretty much all the way down, and that flour is going to combine with the olive oil, the butter. You know, you could do bacon in here too instead of the sausage, to form a bit of a roux, which is going to be the thickening agent for our milk. Now I'm going to let this go for about 5 minutes or so, low heat, and that'll help cook out some of that raw flavor in the flour. And then, well, it'll be time to make our sauce. I think it's time to cook our burger off too. All right, let's keep going on our Jacksonville Biscuits and Gravy burger. We've got that patty that we made earlier, seasoned, salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and cook it all the way through, not a medium burger on this one because we got that patty in there, or we got the sausage in there. This is kind of the most boring part of this recipe, so let's go ahead. I'm going to switch pans. We'll make the gravy while the patty cooks off. Alright, we got our burger off cooking in the back. I've got our sauce ready to go here. Now this is that sausage that we cooked off, and then we added the flour, and you can see already how that milk quickens super fast. I'm spilling it all over the place. As you whisk it in, it's going to increasingly thicken until kind of all the thickening power is used up. It's going to get thinner, and then as it heats, it's going to get thicker and thicker. And you can kind of go until you get to the consistency that you want. You do have to make sure, like I said, it kind of comes to the boil and you settle into the right consistency. You don't have to go nuts stirring like I am. But eventually, you just keep adding a little milk, let it thicken, add a little milk, and it'll get right to the thickness that you want. Alright, you can see, it keeps getting thicker as you cook it. If it's ever too thin, you can just add more milk. If it's ever too thick, you can either just let it reduce down for a little bit longer, or you can make a little bit more roux, just flour and butter, and add it in there. It's gonna thicken a little bit as it cools, so I like it just a little bit thinner than what I want it on our plate. I've got our burger, I flipped over, put the cover on so it doesn't splatter everywhere. We're almost done with that, so I think I'm going to cut our bun, biscuit, and we'll serve this guy up. Okay, our burger's done, so I'm going to go ahead, take it off the plate, let it rest on a clean cutting board for just a couple minutes, and we'll finish off our sauce by checking the thickness one more time. I'm going to add just a touch more milk, and you want to make sure you season it, or you get the right seasoning at the end. So we'll give it a little taste. That's damn good. We'll add a little fresh ground black pepper, a little bit of salt, and because I always like a little bit of green, a little bit of chopped fresh parsley in mine. Not sure how traditional that is, but why not? So, this is looking perfect. Let's go ahead and plate this guy up. Alright, Jacksonville fans, we've got our biscuit, we've got our burger patty, sausage and ground beef on there, and we've got our gravy. I think the right way is to just absolutely overload this guy every which way you can. And there we go, with our Jacksonville Jaguars inspired biscuits and gravy burger. Let's go ahead and cut it up. Alright guys, let's go ahead and cut this open, although I suspect this might be a fork and knife burger. We'll go ahead and take a look at the inside. And, oh, that is very nice. That biscuit to sop up all that wonderful gravy. I absolutely love it. Jacksonville, good luck, and I'll see you in the Super Bowl. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required. Alright, Jacksonville fans, I hope I did your city and your team proud with this biscuits and gravy burger. I never made anything like it before, and it's, I think, elevated immediately right up into one of my all-time favorite burgers. Go ahead, check out the whole series. I'm sure you're going to find others that you like. And, if you like this technique of using sausage out of the casing, I do it with pizzas all the time. Check out some of my pizza recipes. I've got some pasta recipes up there that I do the same thing. It's a great way to get just a little bit of that sausage flavor in the dishes that you're making. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.